This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 610.
I program my own computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. The technology.
Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have 3 next weekend. WordCamp Taiwan, November 7th and 8th. WordCamp Athens, November 8th and 9th. And also WordPress Tech Congress, which is part of, I think, WordCamp Valencia, also November 8th and 9th. So that looks like it's going to be a great weekend across the world, not in the U.S., but Taiwan, in Valencia, Spain, and Athens, Greece. So if you're in those parts of the world, go and say hi for anyone who I might know, or I don't know, something like that. Anyway, also this weekend coming up, my birthday, Sunday. So in case you want to shoot me a DM or a message on Twitter or wherever, just, it's my birthday. I'm just going to put it out there. All right. That's it for that. Yeah, moving on to segment 1 in the news. Only one thing to share here. That's WordPress 6.9 Beta 2 is out. It contains more than 33 editor updates and fixes since the first beta. Also has 28 tickets for WordPress Core. And lastly, it's scheduled for release December 2nd, 2025, which is just just shy of a month by the time this episode drops. So wow, yeah, 30 days out, and we'll see 6.9. Is that it in the news? Yeah, that's it in the news. All right, moving on to segment 2, the meat potatoes of this week's episode. So this week's episode is all about Halloween. We just had it here in the US. This episode was supposed to come out a few weeks back, or last week necessarily. I totally forgot. I had the content and I asked for some questions from people I know in the space that we're all in. So I'm calling this Scary Stories from the Development Crypt. And I'm going to start with mine. So, we've all had scary stories, had mistakes early in our careers or late in our careers or in our businesses, etc. So early days, I'm living in Southern California. I got a referral from a yoga spin cycle shop. I went in, met with the manager, maybe the owner. I don't remember exactly. I do recall they were running an iMac in the front of the reception area. I logged in. I was doing the actual on-site discovery session. I think my rate at this point might have been $25 or $35 an hour. It was not much. It was a long time ago. And what I didn't know was what a child theme was. All I saw were all these themes, and decided to delete them all, because why do we have all these extra themes in here? It's just clutter, and it's just excess database to deal with and stuff. That's what I thought, right? What I didn't know was one of these active, one of these child themes was active, and that's luckily I had run a backup using Backup Buddy back in the day from iThemes. So I think they're still around. Anyway, I was very fortunate that I had that. I reinstalled it, had everything going again. But I can tell you that 90 minutes of my life, I will never get back, and it was very stressful. I was really young and early in the space, I think. So there is that. Yeah, pretty scary stuff. All right, I have some other ones here. I have one audio file. We're going to play the audio file first. This is from Kyle, friend of the show. Let's see. He has a discussion about a lawsuit. So let's take a listen to this scary story.
Hey Adam, Kyle Maurer here with a story from early in my career doing web development related work, something for your audience. I recollect the first real web tech job I had was at a niche agency that in part provided web development and web design related services. And I started as an intern and grew quickly within that small company to be essentially running the technology and the development department with a team of interns and reporting to me, and managed the launch of all of our client websites. These were essentially niche franchises, and it was fine. I learned a lot through that job, but the scary thing that happened was after that job, I ended up leaving that job because of conflict with the owners. Essentially, I considered them to be operating a pretty unethical business, and wasn't going to be a part of it anymore. So very long and kind of scary story for young me. Cut short, I left that to start my own agency. So this is my first step into self-employment. Now, if you fast forward some months, the scary thing that happened is I found myself being contacted online by a lawyer, and eventually was a recipient of some documents naming me as an accomplice in a class action lawsuit that was being waged against my former employer. It listed the name of all of my former coworkers, the owners of the company, and myself as participants in this elaborate scheme that was defrauding a lot of customers. That was a really big, scary case, actually. It was a RICO case. I'm not for sure if you're familiar with that, but that's the kind of legal mechanism used to pursue like mafia gangsters and so on. Like it was very elaborate and scary. And I quickly got a lawyer of my own. This was my first entanglement with anything like that. I was kind of terrified that I could be somehow found culpable of whatever crimes my former employers had commit, because I was involved in the launching of these websites and the fulfillment of the services promised to all of our former clients who were joining together to sue the company. And it looked kind of bleak for a little bit of while, but I spent some money with an attorney who managed to contact the suing parties and at least get my name removed from the list of accomplices in this scheme, and settle me so that I was safe and no longer a party in this case. And everything worked out just fine. But it was one of those terrifying moments where I learned a little bit about who I could get entangled with and how some of those cases, those class action lawsuits can work. And just being involved in the technology with an agency like that could be something that finds you culpable. So I don't know what lesson to take away from it, but it was scary at the time, and that was your prompt. So here's another story for you. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, that's lawsuits are no joke. I've actually been served papers, or I got a letter from one when I was running my video production studio in Colorado. They were unhappy with the video. It's a wedding video, but long story short, it was just a letter from a lawyer that they knew someone there. It wasn't that they were taking it, but yeah, it's just a waste of time. Anyway, lawsuits, no joke. Scary stuff. Yeah, yikes. All right, moving on. The next one here, we have one from Tara Clays. The rest of them are just write-ins, and I have to read them out to you. But I think I'm going to play some music behind here. So can I do this? Yes. Here we go. So here's one for you. Let's see if I can do this or not. Yeah, this one's from Tara. The music's subtle, but I wiped out a client's email when I changed their name servers. Eventually got it back, but had a few panic attacks in the meantime. I avoid touching name servers if I can at all costs now. Yeah, true. Yeah, name servers, no joke either. So that's for sure. All right, what else? We got one here from Sam. Sam writes in, it was a dark and stormy Friday afternoon, and I just wanted to push one last update before the weekend. Ooh, this can't go well. A quick cleanup, a little optimization, nothing major, except instead of deleting the test data from the staging server, I ran the command on production. Oh no. Within seconds, the entire client database gone. Years of customer info wiped clean like a ghost in the night. The backup, that was supposed to run nightly. It hadn't run in 3 months. I spent the entire weekend restoring what they could from CSV exports and tiers. Now every project starts with one rule written on a sticky note. Double check your environment before you hit enter. Yeah, good one. Yeah, that's I've been there too. I guess I've probably done it once. Yeah. All right, here's another one sent in by Jamie. Jamie was new to PHP, confident, brave, and reckless, he writes. They were editing the theme's functions.php file directly from the WordPress dashboard, because hey, it's faster that way, right? One missing semicolon later, white screen everywhere. The site, the admin area, even the staging site were all blank as a tombstone. Jamie didn't have FTP access, didn't know what SSH was, so they called the client, pretended to be checking something with the DNS. Eventually, the host restored a backup, but not before the client asked the dreaded question, why does my website say nothing? Now Jamie preaches the gospel of local development like a campfire warning. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, we used to call that cowboy coding. Remember that when desktop server, ServerPress, they had shirts. Don't cowboy code. Yeah, that was never do it on the live site. All right, this one is from Casey. Casey was thrilled. A big client, recurring retainer, easy updates, she writes. Month after month, they collected the check, made small tweaks, but as time passed, the client grew distant. Emails went unanswered, logins stopped working, and yet the automatic payment kept coming until one October morning, a new project manager called. Who are you? Why are we still paying you $750 a month? Turns out the company had been sold 6 months earlier. The new owners had no idea Casey existed. After refunding a few months out of guilt, Casey learned a real lesson. Always have clear contracts, clear contacts, and a kill clause before the ghosts of project pasts come calling. So yeah, it's true. I actually had the same situation once where client went dark for a year, literally a year. It was a law firm too, and then they called back up, new management. Hey, can we get the new site running by Friday? I'm like, no. So anyway, yeah. All right. Claudia writes in, when she was at billing at Kingsta, she almost billed someone $5,000 a month instead of $5,000 a year. Yeah, that could be a problem. And then I have a couple more here. This one is from, so this one is, I can't, this one's vague. I have to leave it vague. I have two people who chimed in separately, and oddly enough, they had the same client over different time periods. And I can't say who the client is. I can't say who the people are who wrote in. And I can't even tell each other, themselves, like I can't tell both people, friends of mine, about this because they swore me to secrecy. But I think they just wanted to share with me and unburden themselves to some extent. Nonetheless, all I can say is this. I'm going to quote this one, kind of a mashup of the two. Sometimes you don't know who your customer really is, and there are some strange people out in the world. Take that for what you will, but it's true. All right. Lastly here, this one is from Jessie Gurr. She writes in, once I had to ask my parents for $13,000 to cover payroll. The, quote, mistake leading up to that was obviously hiring more people than I could afford. And then earlier this year, I don't know if this is current or not, we let go a 40-hour-a-week salaried employee. Went 2 months before we replaced them with a 5-hour-a-week contractor. I would say this is probably the most expensive, many-year mistake that I should have acted on earlier. Scary stuff. Oh, and a couple years ago, I had to let go 2 40-hour employees that we didn't have any work for. Never replaced them. The TLDR, she writes, overstaffing. If I had a second home in the Hamptons, I'd have a second home in the Hamptons if I didn't make the mistakes. And to wrap it up with, quote, my entire career has been a series of scary and terrible mistakes, end quote. So there you go. Yeah, not easy sometimes running these companies of ours, these businesses, and scary stuff does happen in different levels, in different arenas that we're all spending time in. So there you go. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap that up, that section. Moving on. If you have a scary story that you want to submit for next year, by all means, let me know. Let me have it. Audio is okay. If you want to just write it in, I can read it as well. So not a problem. Kind of fun. And just kind of smiling at looking back at the mistakes we all made. We've all been there. So, okay, moving on to segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This one is something that I've been looking for a long time. I know they existed. I never did it. And my friend Sally Gradle, the amazing Sally Gradle, she recommended it. The eyedropper Chrome extension. Just to get the color codes from something on screen much faster than taking a screenshot, opening the Photoshop, grabbing the hex. It's just so much faster. I don't know why I waited so long to do this, but the eyedropper Chrome extension, if you're running Chrome, I'm sure there's other ones out there for different browsers. Link in the show notes. Actually, it's at eyedropper.org if you want to grab it. So, all right, that's it for this week. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use that speak pipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, you can become a Patreon. You can also sponsor the podcast. There's a form on the website. Do that there. And thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right. Bye-bye.